This right here, so freaking annoying, I swear. What's going on, everyone? Jamie here from Morta Games, and if this is your first time on the channel, let me just start off by saying welcome. This is a place for MMORPG fans. Here you'll find guides and tutorials for certain games, you'll find reviews for peripherals and other tech, and you'll also find gaming vlogs. So if that's your thing, consider subscribing to the channel. But I wanted to talk to y'all today about the Razer Tartarus V2. I've had this gamepad for about 4 months now, and I wanted to revisit it to share some of the pros and cons that I've found with it over these last couple of months. I want to convey that with you so that you can make an informed decision if you're thinking about picking up this product or something else. Now, I originally bought it so that I can play all my MMOs on my PC or my laptop. But I found that I'm mainly only using it for Final Fantasy XIV. Right. For Star Wars and for Amazon's New World, I end up using the Booga one-handed keyboard. I found this for $10 at Five Below one day when I was hanging out with my girlfriend there, and so we thought it would be funny to pick it up and use it. Now, not that the Razer doesn't work for those games, I just feel like this really lends itself to Final Fantasy, and I felt like the Booga one-handed keyboard, just because of the play style and how it was set up, lent itself more to Amazon's New World. Now, if you're unfamiliar, Amazon's New World is an MMORPG that's being released later on this month. I got a chance to beta test that game, and it was amazing. It reminded me of a very old school OG MMORPG. I'm talking about back from the EverQuest days, that type of MMORPG. It was really awesome, really fun. I enjoyed my time. I ended up pre-ordering it, and I can't wait for its release. I'll probably end up playing that game up until the release of Endwalker, and then even then, while I'm playing Final Fantasy, I'm going to find time to go back and play that game. If you haven't checked it out yet, I will leave the link down below so you can go to Amazon and check it out, because that's how you can buy the game, off of Amazon or off of Steam. But for Final Fantasy, this is the go-to device for me. And I'll tell you why. One of the things that I really liked about this device was this wrist pad. Now, to be honest, I wasn't really thrilled about wrist pads when I was looking at devices and just thinking about gaming on PC in general. But maybe about a month or so before the pandemic hit, I ended up having this bizarre freak accident. I was coming back from the gym and I decided to wash dishes, and in that process, plate slipped, cracked in the sink, ended up jumping up and slitting my wrist open. I don't know if you can see that right there. And since then, it hasn't healed properly, and so it feels funky when I touch it. So I'm really glad that the Razer Tartarus has this little pad here. It makes playing a bit more comfortable. I can take a couple hours playing it. It's not uncomfortable. I can move around. I can play. It doesn't really hinder my hand while playing, and so I really dug it. I really was into that. Now, like the Boga, it's just all plastic, and other devices either don't have them or all plastic or just have nothing, so it's just your desk. So I'm glad that this one has it. It's very comfortable. Now, another thing that I ended up really liking, and this was the selling point for me, this is what really made me buy this device, was this directional pad. And it's actually a pad, and then you can pull this off here. So it's actually just a D-pad, and then this device just turns it into a stick. It comes with Razer Tartarus, so they include it in the packaging, which I thought was sweet. Now I can't put it back in. There you go. So I thought that was awesome. Turns it from a standard directional pad into like a joystick. Look at this. Listen to that. That sounds awesome. We'll get to that later. But one reason why that was it was because when I first started playing on my laptop, I was unable to move with the standard WASD and set off my abilities at the same time. So it made it difficult for me to keep up my DPS or to heal on the move. And I feel like for FF14, that is a must because that game is a very mobile game. So you have to constantly be dodging so that you don't get hit, and you need to also keep up your DPS. So I couldn't do that with a standard keyboard. So when I was looking for a device, I wanted to make sure that it had one, and this one had it. Now, Final Fantasy also has their Tactical Assault, which they have their own keypad, but I felt it was going to be uncomfortable using that simply because their joystick points straight up. And I thought that was an odd choice for a design because I felt it wouldn't be comfortable. Like if you hold your hand out, your thumb just naturally, darts out. And I feel like with that, you would kind of have to like have this awkward flat palm thing. So look, for instance, we'll use my pickle hot sauce as an example. That thumbstick of theirs, Tactical Assault, just sticks straight up. And I'll show you the picture here so you can see. And I felt like it would be odd, like moving it with your thumb. Like I felt like this, you wouldn't get a good motion because sure, you can move to your left, but to move right, I don't know. I just felt it was odd. I don't know. I could be wrong. If you have it or you have one like that, let me know how gameplay is with it in the comments below. Maybe I'll pick it up. But to me, I felt like that was an odd positioning because that's just weird to me. But when I saw this device and I saw where that location was, I thought it was awesome because look, your hand just fits perfectly on it. So it allows me to move and set off my abilities at the same time. I really love the design of it. There's like a really subtle concave there. I don't know if you can see it. So it makes clicking buttons a little easier. It's a bit more comfortable in form factoring here to your hand. My only thing, and then I'll mention it now, is my pinky is kind of small, so I have a hard time reaching that one key. But most times I just reach with my ring finger and set off whatever ability I need. I have small hands, by the way, so it's difficult. But don't worry, if you have big hands, this plate is fully adjustable, and I mention it in another video I did on the Razer Tartarus when I'm showing you how to remap the keys and how it coincides with the HUD on Final Fantasy. So if you want, you can check that out. I'll leave that up there for you to check out. So I just kind of like convey how it is. And you really playing with this device, you kind of really get used to it. When I first started, I had to constantly look down to see what I was hitting so I wouldn't misclick an ability. And you will misclick abilities at first. It happened to me all the time. I was misclicking abilities. But just using it and practicing and just, playing Final Fantasy with it more, I got to the point where I don't even look down or I don't even look at the HUD anymore. And you know what? I actually did a video, or I was trying to grab footage for a video not that long ago and actually did a dungeon run without anything. And I know Brian from Work to Force, I think he does that. I think he plays like that with nothing on there. So you can get to that point where you'll be able to play with nothing, and it's just you memorizing your cooldowns and what abilities are where. I thought that was kind of cool. I'll try to do a video like that, but we'll see. So you get used to it. And aside from this little concave, like this little thing, I do like the curve of the device. And I just noticed that recently, but besides that rock, there's also like a slight slope here, which I thought was kind of cool because it just kind of fits your hand perfectly. And I kind of love that about the device. Now, another thing, talking about the keys, Razer has what's called mecha membrane. So these aren't mechanical keys. They're somewhat in the middle. And it's supposed to replicate the feel and touch of mechanical keys. There is a slight resistance to them, and there's an oddly satisfying like clicking sound. Here, I'll show you in the microphone. Let's see if you can hear it. So I really dig that. Now, your 1 through 19 keys are that mecha membrane. Your 20 key is also the mecha membrane. And I believe the directional is mechanical. One thing I also liked about this was the customization software that it comes with. You can remap the keys, which I mentioned. You can also change the color and aesthetic of the device. So I have mine a static solid purple. I really dig purple. Look, my mic's purple. Lights in the background are purple. You can't see, but my Alienware keys are like purple. Everything's purple. So you can customize it to any color you want and the type of lighting. So I have static, but there's also pulsating. There's also flames. There are different things that you can mess around with in that software. And so I really dig that. I thought that was super cool. If that's your thing, that's purely aesthetic. I dug it. Not that I look for it in devices, but I'm not gonna lie. Like when I bought this microphone, I was kind of like, can I change the color? So it's up to you. That's more personal preference than it is practical gameplay. But those are some of the things that I really liked. And to be honest, it made playing Final Fantasy XIV a whole lot easier. And I do not regret that purchase. There are things that are a headache, and I will mention them right now. I know I just mentioned how awesome the software is, being able to customize my device, but the software is a headache. And that's because when I had this device, like for the first month, it was awesome. And then they completely changed the software, like redesigned it. And it went from user-friendly to menu-driven. And it'll take you a while to find your way through it. But it was a huge change from what they originally... It wasn't even like a subtle change between software. It was just like a completely 180. And so that threw me off for a little bit. It was frustrating to get everything back to the way it was because everything just reset. So hopefully they don't change the software on you all, but that's something to consider because they didn't even announce it. It was just like, here, this is the thing you have to use now. So check that out. Now, I know I said I love the sound of the keys and it was oddly satisfying to press. But if you have a significant other, a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and they're sensitive to sound, they might get annoyed rather quickly from all the clicking. I only say that because I share the office with my girlfriend. Her desk is like adjacent to mine over here. And so if she's here working and I am working or I'm gaming, I'm doing something and I'm clicking the keys, it will kind of annoy her. And so if you do have a partner that's sensitive to that, just be mindful, be aware of that. Maybe you yourself don't like the sound of that, then maybe this device isn't for you. Right? Something like this is a bit quieter, but this is kind of loud. I dig it. Gets on her nerves sometimes, so just be aware. Now, despite it having 5 rubber stoppers underneath, the device does move on me. Now, it doesn't really move like forward unless I'm really like stomping my hand. But if I'm going like this, you see it did it right there. If I'm putting my hand on it, it'll kind of shift to the left. And so that's kind of annoying, especially like if I get real intense and it starts moving. So I don't know how to fix that. I don't know if you can or if you all know a way, but on this desk surface, it kind of just like shifts and it can get annoying. One of the main things that caused me the biggest headache with the Razer Tartarus is that directional pad that I so loved and looked forward. The reason is that sometimes the key will get stuck. And if you're running like a trial or raid on Final Fantasy and that key gets stuck on you, you're just going to beeline straight for the wall and you'll die. And I know because that's happened to me a lot of times and it was annoying and frustrating. I don't know what's the deal. I don't know if it's a software issue or if it's like a mechanical issue. I haven't taken apart the Razer, and I wish I could for you all, but like I don't have another device, and I don't necessarily have the money to buy another device at the moment. So maybe if I do get another one in the future, I'll take it apart and I'll try to give you an explanation as to why that's happening. But as far as I know, it's going to get stuck. And if you purchase this, it will get stuck on you because it seems to be happening to a lot of people that have it. Now, you can kind of get around it. You can unstick it. Usually when that happens to me, what I end up doing is I just do like a full clock rotation and counterclock rotation and it'll like unstuck itself and then I'll be able to like move freely. but you will feel it. Like it'll get stuck and your character will just move. So that's something to be aware of. If you're fine with that, if you're just fine with doing the little shifts to get it unstuck, awesome. If you think that's going to annoy you, just know that you've been warned. So overall, I really, really dig this device. And I hope this video has helped you and informed you on what it is you're going to buy if you're considering buying it. Now, I did put the link down below, so if you want to, you can just click it and it'll take you straight to the Amazon page where I bought this, and you can place an order for yourself, or you can also look at other alternatives. I end up liking it, to be honest. I don't think I'm going to get rid of it, and if this one ends up breaking on me, which I hope it doesn't, I will more than likely pick another one up. I just hope that they fix that. So, if you found this video useful, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Because of you, this channel gets to grow and reach other people who are also interested in MMORPGs and maybe also need your help in making a decision if they're going to buy the Razer Tartarus. If you do end up purchasing it, let me know in the comments below what you think about it and how it feels for you, and we will revisit this later on down the line. But that's it for me for tonight. I am going to jump on Final Fantasy and start playing because I have a lot to do. But let me know what you all think in the comments below. Thank you all so much. I will see you all later, and you have a great night. Bye, y'all.